Hi there, Simon from simonwoods.com, or should that be Ethaimon from ethaimonwoodthe.com, because I'm in Spanish mode today. I've got a Rioja, and I've got we've got three others in which Grenache plays a rather large role. And it's not that Grenache, it doesn't appear in Rioja, but I just have a strong feeling that when it says 100% Tempranillo on the back of the Londonio Crianza 2008, then there won't be too much Grenache in there. Anyway, let's give it a whirl. Well, it says on the back label 12 months in French and American oak, and if they wait a bit longer they could probably have sold it as a reserva, but they can't wait till January the 1st 2012, which I think is the first time that they could probably sell it as a reserva. I stick my nose in there. First thing I smelt was this smoky, bit of the smoky oak, ever so slightly lactic, like yogurt gone ever so slightly manky, but nice manky, if you know what I mean, and if you don't, well, tough. But then the fruit starts wafting out, it billowing out, and it's this confident, juicy, spicy, vibrant fruit. It's not out and out, I am fresh, young and sappy, but there's an earthy confidence. It's one of those things that it's ever so slightly hairy-chested. It's got... some people can undo a few buttons. I can't, because otherwise you'll see my moobs. But this feels like wine that can open its chest, and it's got hair and no moobs. There's a lovely savage quality about it. There's a wildness. It feels like it tastes of soil rather than taste of processes. There's a character. In France they talk about the garrigue. I don't think Rioja has garrigue, but there's certainly something here of hot earth, ever so slightly clay-like character, hot, dusty character. Juicy, vibrant, fresh, tender, really lovely, bouncy, vibrant wine. And yeah, I mean, it's only Crianza. It's not the top tier of Spanish wine, but it's pretty good Spanish wine. Let's see whether the Etim can be any better. Etim is Monsant. Which Monsant is almost like, goes around like a horseshoe shaped round Priorat. We've got a Priorat later. So the main grapes here are much as in Priorat, and modern Priorat as in modern Monsant. They've got these old vines, Carignan and Grenache, plus younger Cabernet, Syrah and Merlot. I think, what's it say on, does it say anything on the back? Blah blah blah, a bit of Syrah, but mostly Grenache and Mazuelo, which is Carignan. Now the weird thing is here, that's Tempranillo, this is Grenache, Mazuelo and Syrah, but there is a common Spanish thread, and maybe it's this hot, dusty, terracotta roof tile type of character that, in the way that I think of wines as having Portugosity and Italianity, this has got Spanity? Catalanity? I don't know what it's got, but there's certainly a definite Spanish accent here, but after all, I am Ethaimon, so I should be able to recognise this, but it feels like, it tastes more of a place rather than the set of the grape varieties that went into it, which after all is what you want. I mean, if all Grenache tastes the same around the world, then you just get into a price war and a ripeness war. And I don't know whether it's the grape varieties or the fact that it's a year older, but there is it feels more mellow than the one before, than the Londonio. It feels like it's going to have a real warm, sausage-friendly character about it. It's grown-up barbecue wine, and some people think that for all fruit you need for a barbecue is something that's got lots of fruit. This has got fruit. It's got this gentle berry, cherry, but it's also got a fruitcake, raisin type of style to it. And then this herbiness. There's the warmth, maybe not quite as herby as the one before, but there's lovely, wild, spicy warmth here. And sometimes I criticise the wines from this part of Spain for almost being too much of a good thing. This one, they've got it right. There's a freshness about it. It's not. It doesn't feel like they've tried to over-ripen the grapes in order to get more concentration, read, higher alcohol, higher Parker points. I didn't say that, but This is charming, drinkable, gluggable sausage wine. And I don't know whether it's that Syrah character, but certainly both Tempranillo and Syrah, I get this orange peel edge to. I didn't get it in the Londonio, but I get that character here on the finish. Orange peel, tasty. I'm enjoying this. Let's see whether I enjoy this. Paso las Moncas. 100% Garnacha, 14 months in French oak, but it's from Navarra. And Navarra is a place that is in need of direction. If anyone's watching from Navarra, there's too many bits of Navarra, and you're all different. So can you separate yourself into different bits and sort yourself out, because I find you too confusing. Some of you use a lot of Tempranillo, some of you use a lot of other great varieties, and there's a lot of difference between the northern end of Navarra and the southern end. Rant over. Let's just taste this wine. It almost smells like someone's trying to do Priorat in Navarra. It smells very rich, very heady, quite raisiny, ever so slightly volatile, and I can't fault it for concentration, but I'm just wondering whether it's good concentration. I'll taste it, see how I get on. There's some really exotic things going on here, like 5-spice powder, and that anise, that clove, and very aromatic. But again, I still come back to, have they, it says 13.5% alcohol, but it almost feels like it's a bit more than that. I'll be honest with you and say I can't work out whether I like that or not. I can't fault it for intensity. It's really intense, and it's got these lovely aromatics going on there. But it's this sort of edge to the fruit, where is the fruit almost overdeveloped. It's weird. It's 13.5%, so it doesn't feel like they've pushed alcohol too much. But I really can't work out whether I like it or not. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come back, and I might even video my my retasting, because what, 5 o'clock now on a Friday afternoon, and I might try it again, not 5 o'clock Saturday morning, but certainly lunchtime tomorrow. Stick the cork back in and see how it looks, because I really am not sure about that wine. There's lots of bits of it that are impressive, but it's that thing about the whole. Is it good? And I'm not convinced at the moment. Hey, let's try the final one, which is Sainsbury's Priorat, which is 14.5% alcohol. So let's give this a whirl. It's weird. I think if you had blindfolded me, swirled this glass and stuck it under my nose and said this is white Burgundy, I would have believed you, because there's like this ready for this, sulphury creamy nuttiness, sulphury in the way in which certain characters develop when white Burgundy ages in barrel and done by certain people. Lafont is one of them, and if you'd said, right, okay, this is a wine made from Grenache, it doesn't say what it's on the back what it's made from, but I imagine it's much the same as the Etim, that Grenache and Mazuelo stroke Carignana, mixed with Grenache, mixed with Syrah Cabernet and Merlot. But yeah, weird. Even when you taste it, there's this sweet, rounded, creamy nuttiness. It's bizarre. The flavour I'm left with in my mouth is not that of a red wine. It feels, I don't even notice red fruits. I notice this creamy, nutty character. I've got to taste this again. It's quite bizarre, because I struggle to see Priorat here. I find these things like the vanilla, the nuttiness, that sulphury spent match character that I associate with white Burgundy. I don't notice any of the slightly baked red fruit character I normally get in Priorat, and I don't notice that mineral edge. It's weird, and I might go and check through notes from my Sainsbury's tastings, because I probably tasted this at one of those, but I just can't remember tasting it with a camera pointing at me. And so I'm really in two minds. It's weird, I'm in two minds about those last two wines. I did like the first two wines, but it's been a strange tasting, but not uninteresting.